Welcome guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Being Smart. In this video I'm going to be showing you how to design this calculator in Figma. I've already designed this using Figma prototyping tool. Figma is a free prototyping tool where you can design wireframes, you can design websites, you can design mobile application softwares, whatever you want to design. Is a product designing tool that you can use for free in your browser, directly in your browser, or you can download it from figma.com. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to design this calculator. I'm going to implement it using HTML, CSS, and vanilla JavaScript to make it work. You don't need to learn any framework in JavaScript to do this. No, not at all. You don't need to install anything. You can just use your code editor and your browser and it's going to work for you perfectly. So that you will not miss any of my updates, make sure you subscribe to this channel. So without further ado, let's get on with designing. So as you can see, I already have all my colors that I'm going to be using here. Also, I have done my research on what I really need in a simple calculator. This is a simple calculator. You don't need to, it's not a scientific calculator, it's just a simple one where you can do minor operations like 1 times 2, you can do addition, you can do multiplication, division, and it can take up decimal. Not only that, this calculator can cancel anything that you've typed in here, and you can delete as you are typing also. So without further ado, let's just get on with designing. So this is what I did. First thing first, we are going to choose a frame from here, a desktop frame, and just come right here and choose a desktop frame. You can choose any frame you want. So I'm going to be choosing MacBook Pro 16, just like that. Then the next thing I did was to add the background color for this frame, which is this. I'm going to be adding a background color, change the fill from here. Instead of solid, convert it to linear. Sorry, I'm going to move from one side to the other. So I'll change this color. Don't forget, I said I already added all the colors that I'm going to be needing. I'll change this color from this side. I'll change the color to this. And in the other side, I'm going to be changing the color to this. Don't forget, I use color picker, choose color picker, and I click on the color that I need. As you can see, we already have our background. So the next thing I did was to come to frame again. I chose frame and I draw a frame on my screen inside the MacBook Pro 16. So I'm going to be changing the name to my calculator. Now the frame that we drew inside this, I'm going to be changing the name to calculator grid. So grid. You see, all these things I'm naming now, they are going to be useful when when we get to that point where I'm integrating using HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Just follow along as I'm designing. Okay, the next thing for us to do is to fill this frame with a color, just like that. Next thing, I have to change the width of this frame. I'll change the width to 480. 480, just like that. Position it to center. Now the next thing here is to add this this screen that you are seeing here, this black screen, and it's the width is 480 and the height is 139. So I'll pick rectangle tool, position it top, or draw on the screen, then position it up. The height is 139. I'll be changing the height to 139, and I'll change the color to this color, which is black, but it's not black. So that is it. Now the next thing for me to do is to, you see these numbers here, every one of them are frames on their own. Like so we are going to be having these columns, they are just like tables, so we are going to be drawing them one after the other. So this is what we are going to do. Come to rectangle tool. We are supposed to use frame, but okay, maybe we should just use frame. Let us use frame. I'm going to draw the frame here, just like that. So we have to divide this frame. The width is 480, so we'll be dividing it into 4. As you can see, we have 4 rows here. 1, 2, 3, 4, which can be divided 4 columns. Sorry, not 4 rows. We have 4 columns. 1, 2, 3, 4. So this frame, we are going to divide the width into 4 parts. So to divide it into 4 parts, you see this is 480 width. So dividing it into 4 is going to give you 120 width. It's going to be square, so 120 width and 120 height. As you can see, this height, I will name it column. Just like that. So the color, the background color of that box is, I'll change it to background color, which is this. So come back there. As you can see, I've changed it to the background color. So the next thing I'm going to do is to add stroke to this column. So this stroke, I'm going to change it to white color. Then instead of inside, I'm going to position it outside, just like that. So we are going to move this frame inside our calculator grid, just like that. Okay, so I'm going to duplicate this into four times. Ctrl D to duplicate, just like that. As you can see, it fits perfectly inside the calculator grid. So that is that. We are going to duplicate this to make the rows. Press Shift and select everything so that you can duplicate one time. So Ctrl D to duplicate it after selection, and move your duplicate downward, just like that. I'm going to duplicate it multiple times. Just like that. I've duplicated it. You see? So coming back here, you see this AC is spanning through 2 columns, and the equals to here is spanning 2 columns. So we are going to do justice to that here. So this is what we are going to do. You see this column right here? This one, we are going to remove it, bring it here. Now this one, make sure you span it to cover 2 columns. Now this one too, the same thing we did there. We are going to remove this and make sure this one span through 2 columns too. So that is how you make it work. Now that is it. So the next thing is to add each input that are here: 1, 2, 3, AC, delete, and the operations. So inside each frame, let's say this one, I'm going to be typing AC inside AC to clear off anything that is on the screen once you are typing AC. Now we have delete, DEL, And we have what else? We have that. So we have equals to, we have 0 as number, we have decimal, we have 1, we have 2, we have 3, we have 4, we have 5, we have 6, and we have 7. Just like that. Make sure you fill everything. We have 9. As you can see, this the inputs are too small, so I'm going to be selecting everything. Now change the size. I'll change the font size to 36 or 34 to make it bigger. Of 36 there, right? Now what else? We have multiplication, addition. Right here we have multiplication, we have addition, and we have subtraction right there. So to position all this to center, just select it, come right here and align horizontal center. Also this, do this to everything. So that you can have the alignments very okay. I hope you are liking my video. Please don't forget to subscribe. Turn on the notification bell so that you will receive notification anytime I'm posting any video. See, if you are new to Figma, as I'm doing this, make sure you are doing it too. So that is that. So the next thing I'm going to do here is to work on the hover. But before then, I'll be adding this, the previous operand and the current operand. I'll add text. I'll make it, let's say 9 is the current operand. I'm going to change this from regular to semi-bold. Let's say okay to semi-bold. As the current operand, I'm going to duplicate this to have the previous operand. 3 plus, for example. Let's say you want to sum 3 plus 9. It's going to be like this. I'm going to reduce the font size of this to 24. That's 24 is okay. Just like that, and I'm going to change the color to something like this. I think this is better. So let's say we want to hover over this and we want to have another color entirely. So we are just going to select this, Ctrl D, move it outside, just like that. Let's move it outside. I'm going to be deleting this. Now let's come to prototype. come to prototype here. Now before then, we have to change the color of the hover. I have the fill color here. I'm going to change it to this color, just like that. So I'll come to prototype. I'll select this, move this arrow to this. Now it's going to be on click. No, we are not going to use on click. It's going to be on hover. While hovering over this, we should have this color instead. So while hovering, navigate to open overlay. How do we want to open overlay? We are going to use manual instead of centered. It's going to be like this. So anytime you are hovering over this, it's going to change to this color. I hope you like my video. So let me present this. I'll be presenting this. So instead of presenting, my network is kind of slow. So this is how it's going to work. And I've come to the end of the Figma design. The next thing I'm going to be doing is to implement this in HTML, CSS, and JavaScript to make it work, to make it reactive, and to make it calculate. Thank you for watching my video. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell. Share my video and like it. Thank you. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. So in this video, I'm going to be showing you how to implement this design in using HTML, CSS, and JavaScript to make it work. So as you can see, this is a Figma design. This is the prototype of the calculator I'm going to be implementing using HTML and CSS with JavaScript, vanilla JavaScript, no framework at all. And this calculator is going to work perfectly fine. So this is what I'm going to do. Currently I have the prototype on Figma, and I have done the video. I have done this design using Figma. If you haven't watched this, you can watch my previous video designing this. Don't worry if you can't find it. You will see the description. You will see the link in the description below, so that you can go through them if you want to know how to design this using Figma. So without further ado, let us implement this using HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So what I'm going to be using, Visual Studio Code. I already created a folder in my desktop called my calculator. So from here I'm going to be adding a file. I'm going to be adding index.html. I'll add style.css for styling. I'll have script.js for the JavaScript. So currently, right now, the major thing we are going to do is to create HTML skeleton. Visual Studio Code helps you out with HTML5 skeleton. So what you are going to do is just to type HTML, and you will see HTML5 here suggested for you using Visual Studio Code. You can use any text editor you want to use. You can use C++, Notepad++, you can use bracket, you can use any text editor at all, even the traditional Notepad that comes with Windows system. So I'm going to be selecting HTML5 here, just like that. So what I'm going to do is to change, I'm going to change this, the title. I will change it to my calculator, just like that. So I've changed my calculator. Now inside the body, I'll start my implementation. So the very first thing we are going to do is, let's go back to our Figma. This is our design. So we are going to create calculator grid. This is calculator grid. So let me change this to calculator grid. So this is calculator grid. So I'm going to create a div tag to represent this, the major calculator. So come back to Visual Studio Code. I'll create a div tag, and I'll give it a class called calculator grid. Using this class, we'll be able to style our calculator in the CSS. We'll be able to call out this calculator grid and give it a specific style. So that is that. I've done that. I'll bring it down. Then I'll create another div tag. And the class is going to be output. Now I'll bring it down. I'll close the tag. I'll bring it down. So inside this tag, I will have another tag again. I'll show you everything in Figma so that you will be able to know how I'm coming up with all this. So this div tag, I'm going to have data previous operand, and the class is going to be previous operand. I'll close the tag just like that. Just the way I'll duplicate this that line, which I press Shift Alternative then arrow down to duplicate. So instead of data previous, I'm going to change this to current, data current operand. Then I'll change the class to current operand instead of previous, current operand. So that is that. Let me explain this. Come back to Figma. You see this 3 plus, that is the previous operand, and this is the current operand, which is this 9. You see this black background here is the output div tag that I have created. Let's go back to Visual Studio Code. This output, this is the previous operand, current operand. Now we are through with that. So the next thing for us to do is to add the buttons. Coming back, these buttons is the next thing for me to do now. So come back here. I'm going to add button tag. Right. So I'll duplicate this many times. Maybe yeah, I'll duplicate it many times. So from here, I'm going to add some things here. Data all clear, which is going to clear everything that is inside the output frame. Everything here. Once you click this, it will delete everything that is here. It will clear everything. Come back. I'll put the class was span 2. So this is let me give you the idea. You see, we have 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 4 columns here, but this AC is spanning through 2 columns. So that is the meaning of the class that I added, which is span 2, and the label is going to be AC. So another button that we have here is data delete. So right here we are going to have DEL. Another one we have is data. We have data delete and we have data operation. So this operation is going to be divide, which is this divide. So from there we have data number. This number is going to be 1. We have another data number 2, so I'm just going to copy and paste here. Paste. So this one is going to be 2, 3. So instead of data number, I will have data operation again. So I will show you what I'm doing. Data operation, the next one is multiplication, which is this. Let's come back. Asterisk for multiplication. Then we have another data number, which is going to be 4. Data number again, 5. Another data number, 6. So the next thing is data operation. Data operation. This data number, data operation that I'm adding is going to be useful at the point of making it reactive, making the calculator work using JavaScript. Data operation, what we have there is summation, this. We're going to have plus sign there. Then we have data number, which is 7. Another button, let me duplicate this further. We have data number, we're going to have 8. Have data number, we're going to have 9. From here we have data operation, and right here we are going to have subtraction. So we are going to have, we'll have data number, and right here what we are going to have is these decimal points. Sorry, I have decimal points here. Another data number, which is 0. So right here we don't have any other operation. What we just have here is data equals, which is going to hold the equal sign. This equals sign. So let us save it. Ctrl S to save, or Command S on Mac. Let's come to my calculator. I'll open this in my browser. So this is all we have. So what I'm going to do next is to add styles to all this. I already have my AC, I have delete, I have division, I have 1, 2, 3 to 9, and I have my operational symbols. I have 0, I have equals to, everything I need to make this calculator work. So in the next chapter I'm going to be styling this and make it come to life, and it's going to look exactly like this once I add all the CSS. So everything will make sense once we start adding CSS. So don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel so that you will receive notification as I'm dropping videos. So I realized I didn't add a class here. This equals to is going to span through 2 columns. So I'm going to add a class, and it's going to hold span 2. So just like that. So the next thing for me to do is to add the CSS. So I have all the HTML code, which doesn't really make sense. This is the skeleton of the calculator. It doesn't make sense at this point because we don't really have anything to work with. So that is why I'm going to be we are going to be linking to the CSS file, which is here. The CSS is in the same folder with the index.html. So I'm going to be linking to the CSS from here. I'm going to say link, choose CSS, style.css, everything is there. Let's say Ctrl S. I'll come to the CSS part. Don't worry about this is just the skeleton, or you need to add it to your code, and I need to start from there. So I'll be starting from the body. I'll be starting from the body tag. Let's start styling the body tag. The body. Let's add body padding equals 0. Margin, make it 0. Then the background. The background, we are going to linear gradients. So linear gradients to right, comma. So I'm going to add the colors here. So this is what I'm trying to achieve. You see, this gradient, the color here and the color here is what I'm trying to achieve. So this is what I'm going to do. I'll pick this color, the hexadecimal number, which is this. I'm going to pick it. Go back to VS Code. I'll paste it here. Hashtag. I'll put hashtag. Put the color, comma, add space. I'll come back again. Choose the other gradient color. I'm going to add hashtag, paste it there. After that, I'm going to save this. Go back to your browser, refresh. You see, I have my background color. Let's go back to Figma. You see, that's the same background color. So let's go back to VS Code. So we are through with the body. Next thing for us to do is to go to calculator grid. Calculator grid. So this is the calculator grid. You see this div tag calculator grid, which is going to house the main calculator inside our file. So the calculator grid, we are going to add display, make it grid. You see grid here. You need to use VS Code because it will make life very, very easy for you. Justify contents. To justify the content, we'll say center. Justify the content to center. Now minimum height. Minimum height is going to be what should we add here? We'll add 100 VH. 100 VH. And what else? Let's add grid template. Grid template columns. As you can see, VS Code is suggesting the necessary thing for me here. I'll add repeat, and inside this bracket I'm going to add 4, 100 px, 100 pixel. So in the next line we are going to have grid template row, grid template rows. I'm going to have min max here, 120 pixel, 120 px, comma auto. Then outside the outside that bracket I'm going to add repeat, and inside the repeat I'm going to have 5, 100 pixel. So just like that, I'm through with the calculator grid. let's Ctrl S to save, and let us check our design. As you can see, it's coming up. So next thing for us to do, let's go back to VS Code. Now we are through with calculator grid. Another thing for us to do is calculator grid. Then we have to choose the buttons. Calculator grid buttons. So this is what I meant by calculator grid button. You see, this div is the parent, while this button is directly under the calculator grid. So what we want to do now is to style these buttons. All the buttons that are here, we need to style them. Let's go back to our style.css file. So this button, we have cursor, and we are going to make it to be pointer. Next thing we are going to do is font size. As you can see, I don't even need to type it, as VS Code is suggesting things for me. The font size is going to be 2 rem. The border is going to be 1 pixel solid white. Okay, 1 pixel solid white. This is what I meant by 1 pixel solid white. You see, these border colors that you are seeing here is what I meant by 1 pixel solid white. As you can see it here, I have the border is white color. Let's go back to VS Code. Okay, what are we going to do? The next thing for us to do is to add outline. It's going to be, the outline is going to be none. Outline is none. Then the background color is going to be the background color for our this thing here. Let's check. This is the background color. We are going to copy the hexadecimal code. The background color hashtag, the color I just copied. Ctrl S to save. Let's go to our browser to check it out. As you can see, we have the background color right there. So let's continue. Okay, now that we are through with background color, now we have to go back to calculator grid. We will choose the button again, and the button, what's in the button is hover. And if you are hovering over the button, I need it to have another color. If you are hovering over, so the background color when you are hovering over the button, we already have the background color while hovering over. So this is what we are going to use. Let's use this. This is going to be the hover color. Let me pick it. You see, it's very easy to develop when you are using Figma. Figma gives you the flexibility to develop without even sweating about anything. I'm going to save it, go back to my browser, I'll refresh. Now when I hover, as you can see, as I'm hovering over the buttons, the color has changed. Okay, let's continue. Going back to VS Code. Okay, so the next thing we are going to do right here is the span tool. Don't forget, we have right here we have a particular button that has up to that span through 2 columns. This AC and equals to sign. This they both span through two columns. So we are going to specify that here. So dot span two, right? So okay, we are going to say grid column. Grid column is going to be span 2. Control S to save. Let's check it out. Okay. Alright, so let's continue. As you can see, we already have it. So let's continue. Coming back to VS Code, let's dot output grid column. Grid column is going to be 1 slash -1. Then the background color is going to be let me choose black. What we are using in the Figma is not pure black, but to make things faster, we're going to use black. Display is flex. Okay, align items is flex end. Now justify contents. So to justify contents, it's going to be space around. Let's see, yes, space around. Flex direction. The flex direction is going to be colon. The padding going to be 10 pixel. Then we have word wrap. The word wrap is going to be break word. Then we have word break. The word break is going to be break all. So let's save it. Come back to our browser. Let's refresh. As you can see, we have it, and our calculator is getting ready. Hope you are enjoying my video. Please don't forget to subscribe, like this video, and share with your friends. So the calculator is coming to life. So we'll come back to that's outputs. Now we need to specify outputs. Outputs, then dot previous operand. The color, previous operand's color. Let's come to Figma. Previous operand's color. Let's see what we have here. This color is what? Okay, let's pick this color. Come back here, paste it there. Add hashtag in front. Font size will be 1.5 rem. Now If you can guess, the next one is dot output, then dot current prompt. Okay, current or prompt. So we are going to use the color is going to be white. We don't really need to sweat. The font size is going to be 2.5 rem. 2.5 rem. So let's save that. Ctrl S to save. Come back to your browser, refresh. Now we have our calculator. Our calculator is ready. So the next thing for us to do is to make this work. Once we click on 9, it should appear here. Click on 5, it should appear. Then we can do multiplication, addition, just to make the calculator work. So don't forget to subscribe, share this video if you like it. So we've been able to design the calculator in Figma, implement it using HTML, style it using CSS. So the next thing is to make this calculator work by using JavaScript, vanilla JavaScript. So thank you for watching. Don't forget again to subscribe to this YouTube channel. Now our calculator actually makes sense now. It is no more just ordinary skeleton HTML. At least now we can now say that okay, this HTML and CSS are working. When you write 3, so this is what I am going to do. Instead of writing the script from scratch, I've already added the script to this script.js. All the scripts are here. So I'm going to leave a link below in the description where you can click and download this source file for this project. So I'm going to be linking to my JS script right there, and I'm going to link to script.js just like that. Then I'll add defer. Yeah. Ctrl S to save. Come right here. As you can see, this is not working. It's not working yet. So when I refresh, it should be working now. Now 2 plus 2 equals 4. That's correct. I can cancel everything. Now 6. Let's write 6,000. Let's delete one after the other. Is working. 2 divided by 2 equals that's not working. 4. Sorry. Let's cancel it. 4 divided by 2 equals 2. Now 22 times 8 equals 176. So everything is working, and you don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel and click the like button. Don't forget to share.